Ready?
Yeah.
All right, so officially call this meeting to order. Thank you all for attending today. Lunch, thank you for who provided lunch.
Welcome.
All right, thank you for lunch. We appreciate that. So important thing. Lunch provided first, in my opinion, for right reasons. But anyway, so for those of you, I pretty much know all of you, I think, with the exception of Steve, Joe Garcia, I'm the director for the Hispanic Community Corrections.
Joe, Steve Barron, I'm the new CEO for Adapt.
Perfect. So nice to meet you. I'm sure we'll be in touch. And I'll schedule something with you to check in with you.
Sounds good.
All right, great.
Shelby's new to the group.
Okay.
Hey,
All
Shelby Slay, I work on the recovery support team with Adapt.
right.
Robert Miller is new to the group.
Good afternoon, Executive Director of FARA. Good to be here.
All right, welcome. Thank you.
Zach Potter is the interim city administrator for Myrtle Creek, so he's new to the group. Since Lonnie resigned. Zach can hear us, but Zach Potter is gonna be coming until they decide who the new city manager will be.
All right. Well, welcome, Ms. Potter. So we'll go ahead and get started. Everyone should have the agenda in front of them. I would entertain a motion for approval of minutes.
I shall make that motion to approve the minutes as presented.
All right, do you have a second?
Second.
All right, any questions, comments, corrections for minutes? All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, being none, minutes have been approved. Next up on the agenda is, do I have to do the special meeting minutes?
Yes.
All right, chair would entertain, or vice chair would entertain a motion for special meeting minute approval. Have a motion,
I shall make that motion for minutes for special meeting approval.
second.
Second.
All right, any comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, seeing none, the special meeting minutes for July 14th have been approved. Next up, action items, council member, says here, Dr. Brigham. Resignation, so do we have to have a motion?
We do need to accept his resignation since he's a voting member.
I move to accept the resignation of Dr. Greg Brigham with regrets,
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
or with congratulations. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats to him, regrets to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, any other comments, questions? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, I just want to make a comment. I appreciate everything Dr. Brigham's done for the community. I was fortunate enough to meet him, I think, on day 1 or 2, when he arrived. It's hard to believe that he is already moving on, but we're grateful for everything he's done for the community, and look forward to wearing him opportunity with his well moving forward. So, thank you, Dr. Brigham. All right, moving on, I will now entertain a motion for approval of Mr. Barron to join the committee.
I move to approve Steve Barron to join the legislative committee representing Adapt.
Enthusiastically. Second.
Any questions, comments? Thoughts? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, welcome.
Congratulations.
Um,
Now you can vote.
we're expecting miracles out of you for this, just say no, like, that's, yeah,
Well, I got an enthusiastic endorsement, so there you go. I'm ready.
all right. Okay, next up, we have Lonnie, Rayville, Myrtle Creek resignation, and entertain motion.
I move to accept resignation line Greenville.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, hearing none, resignation of Lonnie Rayville has been accepted. Next up is
you.
me. All right, perfect. So As I'll give a brief little history, please stop me at any point if you have any questions. So, I sent out my biennial plan every 2 years. I bring forward a biennial plan for review to the LPSCC committee. And part of the reason we do that for community corrections is many years ago, you'll see the report, I believe it's 94. The state used to actually operate all community corrections departments, and they gave them back to counties to operate. And part of the reason they did that, the main reason they did that, it's always about prison beds. And at that point in time, the state was expanding the use of prison and therefore needed to reduce the number of people who were in prison. So anyone serving a prison sentence of 12 months or less, they wanted to have them served locally. And so as part of that agreement with counties, counties agreed to take back community corrections departments and operate them with local control. There is, in that same bill, there was a provision that was put in there that allowed for counties, should the state not fund at what's called baseline funding, which is the lowest amount of funding that they can provide without triggering what's called opt-out, which is the ability for counties to return community corrections back to the state to operate. And so what happens is, if it's literally $1 less than the baseline amount that the calculation that the state provides, then counties can give back the operations of their county community corrections to the state of Oregon to operate. So that occurred in Douglas County back in 2003 and 4. It takes a while for the process to happen. Lynn County is the other county that also opted to do that. And then once the legislature realized that those counties giving back the operations, they somehow found funding to close that window. So they thought it would be a short-term kind of partnership with us going back to the state, and here we are. You know, how many years later, and Lynn and Douglas County still operate under the state. So, and have for all those years. So as part of that, all community corrections departments are required to submit a biennial plan to their LPSCC that then goes in front of the Board of Commissioners for approval. And it basically outlines how you're going to spend those funds and what services you're providing to the community. For state departments, what we do, specifically I do, is for the purpose of transparency. For my operation, I've always submitted a biennial plan for review from the committee. And I do ask for a vote of acceptance, comments, and those things, but technically, Board of Commissioners don't actually approve the plan. And so, but they are advised of the plan, they do comment, I work directly with them. I even have my own liaison commissioner that I work directly with as things kind of happen throughout the biennium. So we don't operate necessarily that different than county operations. And so part of that's just publicly viewed, but it's important that we still have a local control aspect of it. So my plan represents what this biennium, the 2025-27 biennium will look like for community corrections in Douglas County. A few highlights of the plan. One, if you've read it, you'll notice an ongoing decline in the number of people who are on supervision. And while some people would think that's a great thing, and it very well is for some folks, the reality is a lot of that's due to the changes in laws related to felony possession cases. It's had a significant impact on the number of people that we supervise. And so some folks again celebrate that, which I understand why. And some other folks realize that all that's doing is preventing opportunities to intervene in people's lives sooner in order to provide resources and access to resource to divert them from future criminality moving forward. So what's happening now is we're getting folks later in the system and their addiction a lot of times is more established. And the criminality is also more established. And so for us right now, it takes a lot for someone to have on supervision. And so at one point in 2015, I was around 1,400 people on supervision. And right now I function around 800, just to give it an idea. So the impact, dollars, a lot of money. So, and it's a lot of services. And so what's happened over time is our office used to have 22 POs. We're now down to 14. We could easily be down to 12. And so we're managing what we, how much we fund jail bed usage. That's part of the agreement we have, the house was 12 months and less, folks serving local sentences. And so we balance that with the number of folks that are serving no sentences, as well as, how many POs the staff have to operate our business. So, couple other highlights, deflection, well, we don't do deflection here in this community, the expectation was going back to an unclassified misdemeanor would result in a number of cases that would be coming back on supervision. The reality is that's hit or miss in counties across the state, some counties actually have a lot of them. And most counties don't have that many of them, and so, again, it's not actually working out, even if you do deflection, these folks are ending up on supervision, and a lot of the folks that are getting these cases actually are already on supervision, so it's not, we're not seeing the results that, I shouldn't say that word, that we were informed that we should be saying. I love that. Yes, and so, so that's a challenge for us, locally, because we know that those folks are still out there, and they're still using. The other part, that's been a struggle for us is unrepresented folks in the community. I don't know how, aware you are. I put it in my plan, so an opportunity to look at it. I think it's pretty important and pretty impactful. So while we do have a defense crisis, we also have a GA crisis. I keep mentioning that as well. And so we have, at the time of this report, I put it in there, 291 cases of people who are underrepresented. So there's a list that the Judicial Department puts out statewide. And that list actually showed us, I think, as fifth in total numbers of underrepresented people in the state of Oregon. But the reality is, and I've asked OJD to include this, they have yet to do it, but in terms of the per capita rate, we're actually second in the state, only behind Jackson County in terms of the impact that it's having in the community of underrepresented folks. So 300 people on supervision for me is probably enough, close to $4 million by annum, which means yes, there's additional POs we have, but also additional funds for services, everything from housing to transportation. Release services, needing that. So those things are what gets cut when our budgets get cut. So, couple other things I'll just mention. Despite all of that, the profession itself is moving to more database driven capability. The legislature has refused to fund us with a new system. We literally use green screen. So if you remember the old green screen, that's black and green. That's literally the system we use for tracking our clients. Same system that prison uses as well. I think some places have gone through even 2 updates since we haven't had a single one. And I think there's one person in the state in contract that can help keep that system operating. So, so what we've done is started building our own dashboards, building our own systems. And so we have some of those systems in place, things that track like our assessment rates that we do, as well as our contact standards for home visits and office visits. And so we're expanding into that to be able to track our data to make sure our staff are complying with the expectations of the state. And then the final thing I'll mention, which is post this plan just happened last week. It got sent to the governor's office. The governor's office has asked for a 2.5% and a 5% reduction of all state agencies proposals. And so for the Department of Corrections, which we operate under, that's $125 million they have to cut. And so community corrections is part of that proposed reduction. It is one of the last reductions that are in this list of things, including another prison closure. But if they were to reduce community corrections even by $1, like I mentioned before, it would trigger opt-out, which means other counties could go back to the state, their community corrections department. And as of right now, that is a possibility that's been proposed. We won't know what that looks like until probably late January, February sometime. For us locally, the way we put the budget together will be fine and it won't impact us locally. But for some other counties, they've already expressed a possible interest in opting out, including some large ones that may be close by us. So what that would create is a different look for community corrections, including possible regionalization. So, yeah, so it's just a new dynamic that we haven't really experienced in 30 years except for when in Douglas County, so. Yeah, so any questions? I tried to be as brief as I could.
Okay, oh, I just had one question, it's, interesting to look at the 17, the 19 by and the delta, right?
Yeah.
A lot of decisions. I noticed in this one, there was a pretty significant, like a $1.4 million infused at the 71,
Yes.
itself.
Yes,
That was listed at one time,
yes,
you're not anticipated to have that before.
correct. Yeah, so there's two things in play with that. One, I've actually kind of seen this trend happening for a while, so I've been anticipating this would be the year that I would experience the most downturn over the last two biennium. So I actually was put funds aside specifically for this biennium to bridge gap. Next biennium, while it's not looking great from a state economic perspective, we have a tool that gets that all of our clients go into that spits out their risk scores to reaffect. And then that tool will separate them in high, medium, low, and then there's a dollar figure that's attached that the budget gets built on statewide for what that is. So that tool just went through a revamping and miraculously got released after June, when our budget was done. And showed that actually if it had been implemented sooner, that instead of $279 million for community corrections statewide, it could have produced either $340 million at one cutoff or $13 million at the other. So we left $30 to $60 million on the table for us, which is of course pretty significant for us, and would have easily filled that gap for Douglas County, even at the lowest level. So, so as of right now, looks like that's going to be adopted moving forward and will be the tool that's used in the next biennium. And so, based on that formula, we anticipate having a higher number of high and medium risk clients, which is what we've been trying to tell folks who do that work for a while, that the clients we're dealing with now are definitely a higher risk than who were 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So fingers crossed. That's the idea. Any other questions?
So
Yeah.
what would regionalization look like? If you're forced to do that?
Well, my personal opinion would be this, depending on who opted out. It could go a variety of ways, but if we were one of the counties that combined with someone else, if I stuck around Douglas County, I think would be okay. And if I didn't stick around, I couldn't really tell you what that would look like. But and that sounds not great, but it's honest. Because the reason being is, if you took a county like Lane County, for example, it's sandwiched in between Lynn and Douglas. So you're talking about combining 3 counties, not just 2, right? And it's large enough that that I don't know that they've sorted out how the distribution of resources would be. In theory, like if you would still keep the county, right, and have a certain number of resources, you might just kind of cut management positions, streamline that or whatever. And every time there's consolidation, at least in the public sector, in my opinion, everyone thinks they're gonna save a ton of money. And the reality is it sounds really great, but you still have to serve that same population of whatever you're doing. So it doesn't really translate into a bunch of savings. I can neither confirm nor deny. I may have been a school board member at one point when we closed the school. And we're promised massive savings, and I created my own spreadsheets that showed we wouldn't, and I was right. And so it's a similar thing, in my opinion, that would happen. It's especially problematic if you have a smaller county, say you take a Lake County or a Curry County, or you just got a couple of folks down there, and you bring that back into the state system, regionalization that way, you're not gonna have a manager at some level doing that. So then that means your manager, whoever station like me or Lynn County, is having to cover multiple different areas and different things. So I don't know if it produces a better service for our local communities per se. But yeah, that's unique. And in some communities, you would lose local control. I mean, you would end up with the state telling you more directly what to do if they had more counties probably. Versus if you just have Linden Douglas County where we pretty much operate how we operate. Yeah. And it would be cheaper.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Yeah, so any other questions?
Any questions from those
Comments?
online?
Right? If you do, feel free, even after this, shoot me a ring anytime. Be more than happy to have you at my shop or answer your questions, so. So right now, I'd entertain a motion to accept the biennial plan as presented.
I'll make that motion. Step the corrections, community corrections back in the plan. And this is for that.
Second.
All right, any other questions, comments? And I'm assuming that motion also is authorizing the chair to sign the plan. Accepting it. Right. Sounds good. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
All right, thank you. Moving on, discussion items, treatment board, video collective, Corey, you're off.
So this one's quick. I received a small grant from Umpqua Health Alliance to help us search video company. We host 713 studios who did the video for us last time. On our county website, under LPSCC and then the supported programs, and you go to RSAT, there's a video there that happened in 2018 highlighting RSAT and drug court. Right now, the Criminal Justice Commission doesn't call it specialty courts anymore, and now treatment courts across the board. So we're redoing our video so we can include mental health court with it as well, since it's highly utilized in our area. And so we're gonna begin production hopefully early next month. Our grant goes till the end of December, but we'll have it used up by then so we can turn in our report. And then we will have a short video that's gonna be displayed in the jail. The reason for that is basically what Joe had mentioned, we're short-staffed. A lot of attorneys that service our area here aren't even from Douglas County sometimes, so they're not well versed with our options. So if we have something that's played in the jail, folks can determine if maybe that's something they're interested, maybe they want to turn their life around, or it's something they've been lacking, they want to try. And so this is a way for them to learn more and then ask for their attorney to then look into it and see if they can be staffed and approved for one of the programs. That's basically it. We'll have the short one for the jail. We'll have a longer one that we'll have posted on our website to update. And then we'll use it for service community groups or public speaking events when we need to. Anyone have any questions or?
That would definitely help the RSAT program too.
Yes, the one right now highlights RSAT, but it's not as utilized as we want it to be. We have 18 beds in the jail. We'd like to see it fuller. This last year we did have 13 in there at one time. That was one of the highest numbers we've had, but right now there's 3. But we have some folks, as Dave Brown, he's our jail pastor, he's said that we're looking at some folks to enter into RSAT. So
Or is the funding like promotional options, or will it include, is it funding so that when individuals take advantage of that, they can talk about the delta, the experience they had in their life? That's pretty powerful when you.
we will have some staff on the video talking about the program, and we'll have some lived experience folks that went through the program to highlight both. That's why the longer we'll have a little more of the graduates in there versus the jail one, but a little bit of them going forward. Okay. So we're excited to get that moving. I know this part wasn't on the agenda, but we met in July online via Zoom because we were applying for the JRP grant, which is Justice Reinvestment Program. That one covers the RSAT program and some transitional housing funds. I just wanted to let you all know that we did get the award. We just had the Board of Commissioners sign the contract for $1,767,436. I got an alert yesterday from the Criminal Justice Commission that mental health court and drug court grants that we applied for are going to come through to me hopefully early this week. Mental health court was $226,862.37. Drug court was $359,485.38. And then today, the rest of this afternoon, I'm gonna be in another meeting with the Criminal Justice Commission about our medication assisted therapy program in the jail. And we're slated to hopefully get $355,088.30. And just so everyone knows with the MAP grant, that's only about 35% of the cost. The other portion that pays for that is opioid funds, elsewhere that the sheriff's office applies for. So altogether, right now, for the new biennium, I'm looking at $2,708,871.78 between those programs. The ones we haven't heard about yet is the Bureau of Justice Assistance, which would let us hire our discharge planner in the jail. We did get a 1-year extension, so she's with us until next September. But I did hear word last week that it passed the Senate 77-20 to try and get more funds back for BJA, so that's now moving on to the House. We're keeping our fingers crossed on that one. And then our Impacts Mobile Crisis Grant, we still don't know where we've heard that there's gonna be funding, just not as much. And they're gonna let us know early next year. So I just wanted to update that real quick on grants. So the one thing I did introduce you to the group today, Dave Graham used to come to the group frequently. I work with him a lot with drug court program, but he's our jail pastor. He works a lot with folks in RSAT and drug court. I don't see in mental health, or do you help in mental health too?
Yeah.
Mental health also.
Housing mainly.
They have the Gramming House. Through North Star Ministries is their program. His son is the one that runs the Roseburg Dream Center. I should say their son. This is his wife, Christy. Christy Gramman and Dave used to do a summit globally for reentry. And I told Dave when I came back from Philadelphia last December, I was super excited because the discharge planner and I went through one in our conference, and it was definitely eye-opening. So when I talked to him, he mentioned that to Christy. She scheduled the fairgrounds for us, and now we have an event coming up. So I'll let you go ahead and talk about the beginnings and how that got started on your screen.
Yeah, David and I, we've been working with the population that needs a lot of support. Folks in drugs and homeless people for a lot of years, and it all started with the education that we got having a boys ranch. And we had the boys ranch, we learned everything that we didn't know about criminality and criminal thinking, and it all comes from trauma. And the ACEs, the Adverse Childhood Experiences study that came out right about that time, right around 2000, was really eye-opening. And so that kind of led us into caring for people who can't make good decisions and are really functioning at a very much younger age, mentally and emotionally, even physiologically. We started noticing the gaps as we were trying to support people that were in the system, where there was just nothing there to provide the structure or the framework that folks needed to actually get any traction into making progress in their decision-making and in actually self-care and caring for others even. And so we started having an annual get-together at the library, called it the Community Reinvestment Summit, and we were just brainstorming, and so many of the different agencies and even I'm gonna say concerned citizens, business owners and whatnot would come to these things, and we would talk about ideas. We would highlight the things that were missing, and I will tell you that in the last 25 years that we've been working in this area, the progress has been dramatic. It may not seem like it to the folks that are doing the drudge, you know, of trying to find the financing and trying to get all of the services organized and working well together. But I will tell you that from where we're at, where we're still boots on the ground, working with folks outside of the process, it's phenomenal what Douglas County is doing. And I know that your guys are setting standards here that other counties are not enjoying the benefits of. You're doing a great job. So hats off to the work that's being done here. I find it really special, the collaboration between agencies.
Yeah.
I find that's wonderful. I just don't hear the scuttlebutt, of people having conflicts where they can't figure something out to benefit the people that we're trying to work with. So I just wanted to say that before I got started. So we had to shut down because of COVID. We couldn't have our meetings anymore. And it's just, we're just gonna do it again. So we got the invitation. We're gonna have a community reinvestment summit. And the purpose of this is to communicate processes, progress, and areas that we can improve in. And this particular one, we're gonna highlight a body learning. That's all I can call it. But it is a simulation where it's a reentry simulation where we set up the room in such a way that participants are given a packet, a dossier or whatever, of who you are and what has happened to you, and that you are now being released from jail or prison. And you have to complete these tasks in order to successfully reenter society. And Mr. Garcia can tell you how he felt when he came to that simulation. Mr. Garcia, would you care to comment how that worked for you?
It was a breeze.
And you spent more time where than anywhere else?
In jail.
Thank you. And so
That's why I was a breeze.
he and my son-in-law, Greg Fisher, ended up, I think Commissioner Boyce was in jail also.
Yeah.
And so, for them to not be able to navigate what the arena, the process themselves, knowing what it takes is really startling. So I'll just give you a quick testimony. When I went through this process and was a participant in a simulation, I thought to myself, oh, good, I got this. I know the process because I know I'm gonna win this game. And I was so angry within about, I don't know, 6 minutes into the activation because number one, I went to treatment and they said I didn't pass a UA, and that's not true because I knew that I was clean. And then I couldn't, everything, I ran out of bus. Oh no, I went to the employment place to get employed, and they gave me an application and sent me to the end of the line. And I only had a few minutes to finish to get. So I just bailed on the job and I went and did a couple other things. And then I noticed that I was out of bus tickets. You must have a bus ticket to get from place to place. I was out of bus tickets. So I went to get bus tickets and the bus station person said, "Where's your bus ticket?" "I'm here to get bus tickets, "Oh, sorry, how'd you get here?" "I walked." "No, that doesn't count." So I failed in the first week. This is a 3-week thing. Anyway, so I'm just gonna invite you to share this opportunity and to come participate, especially Mr. Barron, if you would come and bring some people, because you are boots on the ground folks. You're working with all of these support systems, but our support systems, and you too, officer, I have
Chief
not
Hutchinson.
met you before, I don't believe, but it's wonderful for all of our wonderful service providers to come and participate in this because it does give you an experience. It's beyond a knowledge. It's an experience that you have that will elevate your ability to have compassion for the process. And the process is intense and it's very frustrating and it's a lot hard to manage. But more than that, it's even hard to comprehend because folks get completely overwhelmed. All right, so it's very fun and it's funny while you're in it because you're just play acting, but at the same time, it does provide a really great experience. I think that it takes at least 35 volunteers, and so we're gonna try to bring most of our volunteers in from the Second Chance community. Because it's very helpful for them to be giving back in a meaningful way that they can see how many people are actually working toward the support of their reentry. And I think that's really important. What did I miss? Lori? Anybody?
Maybe Thursday, April 9th at the fairgrounds.
Yes. It's gonna take a morning, all morning until lunch. We hope to be able to have lunch for you as well. And it's gonna give you an opportunity to share, because we do have a sharing afterwards, of what you experienced, and also things that you know are maybe in the making, that are making things better. I think that kind of a interaction is really important, and I think you'll have a really good time.
So we're seeking volunteers or any businesses that want to help us with some of the financial pieces. We still need to talk to Commissioner Boyce if we have the room fee waived. He wasn't able to be here today.
I know one of the years we had a sponsor for that.
Yeah.
So,
We need sponsors.
some work on that.
And I had a similar situation to you in Philadelphia, so, and you thinking, oh, well, I help people all the time in the programs, and no.
I'd like to add
The
one more
cards are
thing.
upside down.
Yeah.
You flip it up and it's dirty way, go see your counselor, go see my counselor, I know you, go see your PO, you put me in jail.
I also wanted to say that we're really reaching out to business owners and people that employ our second chance citizens, and this is a really important experience for them as well. To recognize and understand the hurdles and the steps that have to be gone through for folks that are coming back into society, reentering either from drug court or from prison or whatever the reentry point is.
Can I add one thing, Corey? One of my favorite ones was when I worked with Rob Petchel with WorkSource, and we had over 70 HR people at the event. And it changed the way that our community hired
Yes,
our second chance people
yes,
dramatically. And I just really appreciated the Dave's Killer Bread Foundation that came and joined with us on that one. And it's a powerful tool to help people understand really what these people go through every day of their life right now, and as they're in recovery. And I have the privilege to have worked with drug court now for 15+ years. And I have the best thing that I could ever do in my life, to see transform lives. So I get to see the other side of it. And I love to get that message out that it does work. And the things that we are doing, as Christy said, here in Douglas County are dramatic. So I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to behavioral health. Things subcommittee update. Alan?
Thanks, Steve. We've been having our usual Zoom meetings every month for the Behavioral Health and Housing Subcommittee. Since our last LPSCC meeting, we've had monthly reports from Connecting Point. Our behavioral health updates come from ADAPT, Integrated Healthcare Programs, their highlights and successes, which includes impacts, resolution rooms, mobile crisis programs, and the sobering center. We've had updates from Mercyland Medical Center Behavioral Health Unit. The Chadwick Clubhouse has given us updates. We've had housing updates from HADCO, which is Housing Authority of Douglas County. Gary Leaf Navigation Center comes in. HTAG, the Housing Action Transition Group, has given us updates. Youth Housing Peace and Home Advocacy Center. NeighborWorks Umpqua attends. Oxford House gives us updates. In the last 3 months, we've had community presenters from the Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua Tribe of Indians. UCAN Agency overview with Julia and Selmo the last 2 months, because she had a lot to share. She's the outreach and engagement specialist. And we also had an update from the last meeting from Thomas McGregor from Peace of Home on the Lotus Pad, which is a youth housing campus in East Roseburg. I think these are a very positive impact there. And I agree with what Dave was saying about the fact that all these people that come to this subcommittee meeting are sharing information, and we have a lot of good back and forth conversations about what everybody's doing, and everybody tries to help everybody else. So it's always very, very nice to have this meeting. Our next meeting is December 2nd, because we're going to concentrate on having one of Thanksgiving and Christmas weeks, so we're gonna be in the middle on December 2nd. So any questions, I'll be able to answer if I can, and that's my report.
All right, any questions? Alan? All right, thank you. Next up, informational packet.
That
Sure.
just came with the packet, so we don't go over this.
Yeah, I was just gonna, I usually ask, so is there anything that anyone wants to add to that? Any thoughts, comments, or anything related to it?
I'll mention one thing if I could, I just want to give a shout out to, Adapt. I think that people may not know, but we have, Adapt services in our schools. And they've really been certainly, they've always been important, but it's so important the last year or two where we've got, and really what we're doing is addressing at the youngest levels, mental health, behavioral health, family support. And that has been paying pretty significant dividends. We're seeing so many families kind of get the help and support they need on the behavioral health side of students. Also, people may not know, integration is we've got staff there at our buildings helping support children and families and staff, and it's been great.
All right. Next up, go to the order roundtable, public comments. First up, Women's Reentry Housing Gap. Venice County comment, should have had in your packet.
I printed an extra for the seats.
Yeah, document that we received. I'll just make a quick comment since part of this is related to my show. We do have reentry connections. We do reach-ins with folks who are releasing into the community from our institutions. And so all of my staff are assigned to do that and work on a plan for reentry. One of the big barriers for us right now, which are of course the barrier for all communities, but it's housing. And so our housing resources are limited, and our resources to help contribute and assist with that has become more limited in the last few years. Contribute up to $100,000 by name for housing assistance, and that is significantly less now than it used to be many years ago. So this is something we're actually also looking at within the Department of Corrections as a whole, on improving some release entry work that we're doing currently. So just wanted to make a comment in terms of the information that's.
We don't always get public comments like this, but we did receive one that they wanted us to share this meeting.
All right, so go to the order. Anything, start with you, Gary.
Okay, go to the order. Compliment, if you want to say, for True North. I thought it was last meeting, must have been 2 meetings ago. We had an individual who had gone to the drug court and corrected his course of action, his life, and he gave you folks very high marks. Who was, do you remember? Or I don't know if I need to say names, but he was here, sat in the same chair that David sat in. And he went through the drug court. He was now teaching other people.
James Walls.
You said it, the name. He gave you, I want you to know, he gave you very high marks. What?
Awesome.
Okay, that's mine.
All right, Alan.
Just to reinforce the fact that all these groups that we have in the county that are doing good work and sharing what they're doing with other groups, so that we're not, we're not individually just trying to create the wheel when it's already created. And then getting out the message that there is something going on. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that say, why aren't we doing this or why aren't we doing that? We are doing something, and some of it is working. So that's just my comment.
Appreciate it. See,
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you for having me on a member of the council. I know I have great shoes to fill, filling a great spot, but looking forward to it. And he's put together great programs with a great team and great leadership. So just look forward to the opportunity.
sure.
I don't have anything huge to announce, but I was at the
the simulation?
Yeah, it was a few years ago. And it was really good. I truly enjoyed it, and I know myself and several of my staff, want to. attend.
Wonderful.
But yeah, there aren't any huge program updates. I will give Tony, kudos for routines for the placements. It's really good to hear that students and families are being helped at school.
About a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I went out to help my troops on a call. I try to be helpful, I'm not sure how I'm gonna show up, but I was there, I was present. And there was a guy that I chased around, starting when he was about 14, and we dealt with him all the time. I arrested him so many times myself and chased him so many times, and I said, man, I haven't seen you for a while. He said, yeah, I graduated RSAT about 6 years ago, and I've been doing great. And so ironically, he got a ticket for disorderly conduct, but that was, that's not gonna affect it where he's at now, but he was. So it's a success story that, was interesting. I literally, we chased him everywhere, so. Wow.
I think I know who you're talking about. So gratifying. We talked with you.
Harry always has the best stories, huh?
One thing I'll just mention, it's related to lipstick, but more on the public safety side, just a huge gratitude we've got for our public safety partners. If you hear, we did receive a grant. It's an on-alert AI detection. It's currently at the RHS, and so we've been working with our law enforcement partners on that. We're just looking for ways to make sure we integrate some of the emerging technology. It's supposed to be able to identify if there's a weapon on campus. So, and it only works when we have great relationships with our partners. So thank you for that. And always thinking about the mental behavioral issues, but also just the public safety in general. It's unfortunately our schools and churches being a place that are most sacred space, is a place where unfortunately we see more aggression happen. So.
Non-busy, except she would like to do a juvenile sim workshop similar to our lipstick sim that we have in September. Sorry. So we may seek some folks from here to attend as well.
Right. Really?
I'm just new here and it's just really cool to see everybody working together, for unification. It's really cool.
Anything further? Dave, Christine? Corey, even?
Just for folks here in person, I did put some food pantry information up in the box. I didn't put it at the seats. If someone needs that, that's a big topic right now. But I'll let folks online.
Any updates from anyone online? You'd like to share?
Melanie, are you able to speak? I see your shout out.
Yeah, I just feel so grateful for all the people. We had 100 people register for the Take Back the Night event, and this was our first annual. And I was super grateful for the 15 law enforcement officers that showed up, including multiple chiefs. And it was really fun to meet some of our deputies from the jail. People were definitely a light for survivors of sexual assault.
Great. All right.
Brent, do you have anything?
Muted, but not muted.
He said no.
I will just add a couple things, then to close. One thing, not worth discussing at this meeting, but at some future meeting, we'll need to do some pre-planning conversations around a bill that is going to go into effect next biennium. That essentially is going to consolidate a bunch of these grants that we have from treatment courts to the Justice for Investment grant to, I think the jail medication one is gonna be wrapped up in that. So it's this kind of massive bill they put together, brilliant bill that's gonna streamline everything and make it easier for counties to respond to. Do all this great work, but we're now gonna be responsible for creating what's called a public safety plan that we give to the state, that we're gonna be judged on about how well we're actually doing. And as part of that, they're going to, assign 10% of those funds to victim services. Some of those funds don't traditionally have, 10% allocations out of that. And then they're also going to hold back 3%, for random control trial studies. I'm not familiar with how many of those we've actually done with those holdbacks, but nevertheless, it's in the bill. And then they're actually gonna hold back, I believe, 15% on top of that for performance. So if you're not doing well enough as a county, then you won't get your money. So it's upwards of, for some of those pots of funds, a 28% reduction. Because I'm not 100% certain, personal opinion, 100% certain how you build a program with 15% that you might not get in funding. So I have yet to have someone explain that to me to part of that bill.
And then you regionalize on top of it.
And then you regionalize on top of it. And so, I know there's some counties, it was dropped at the last minute. And so of course, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for comment or kind of any work, meaningful work on the bill. The Criminal Justice Commission is going to be the entity that's going to consolidate all of this. They're starting to work on some of this. There's some concern from several counties, from everything to, this has turned into state takeover of public safety at the county level, to just frustration with, we thought we were asking for things to be streamlined, like, do all of us have to write 5 different letters of support for 5 different grants? Can't we just write one? That kind of stuff. And so the idea was that it was supposed to be easier for counties to respond to this way of doing business now with some of these funds. And so it's turned into something that's a larger undertaking, and it's gonna have potentially a significant impact on counties. So in fact, some counties are like, it might not be worth it, because the amount of money they're actually providing to those pots of money aren't actually growing, they're actually shrinking and becoming more competitive. And so counties are having to absorb more and more of those costs because it's not keeping up with just regular roll-up costs, let alone inflation or anything else. So, yeah, so I just want to throw that out there.
Well, the good news too.
Yeah, it's not good news, but it's, yeah, I don't want to say it's 36.55, but I can get it to you. So, yeah, it is something we're gonna have to discuss and get ahead of. I know AOC's, gonna be talking about it, Association of Oregon Counties, we're talking about it. I know there's frustration around that. So, yeah. And also, one other thing too, I forgot to mention, as part of some of the reductions for the overall DOC proposed budget, is some of them are the criminal fees and fines that do come to counties. And also, they just got an increase in jail reimbursement rates for DUIs. And that actually is a proposed cut for some of those dollars that will be happening in January, February. So.
I don't understand that last one. It's
Yeah.
what's a proposed cut?
So the jails, so counties receive for housing DUI cases, some of them, they receive reimbursement housing locally.
Okay.
And so it hasn't increased much. They just got an increase in the legislature this session. And then now they're proposing cutting part of that increase as part of their overall reduction.
Okay.
Department of Corrections is to meet the 125 out. So. Yeah, and I think that's coming out. I have it, but it's officially coming out any day, and so I can forward it out just so folks can see that list, and the commissioners might want to see it and how it's gonna impact the county, so I'll get it out to everybody.
So the way I heard it is, we're gonna give you less so you could do more.
They gave us less so we could do more, and they're proposing potentially giving us less of less. So, yes, I think you're in that way. All right, anything else for the good of the order? Okay, thank you, everyone. I'll adjourn the meeting. You've got 3 minutes. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. So, good to know.
Yes.